It is amazing to think that there is a line that stands between chaos and peace. That line is this thin blue line. If you go back to its origination, somewhere around 1854 during the Crimean War, there was a line by which the Scottish Highlanders stood their ground against the Russian cavalry. It was that line that years later became this blue line. The blue line where individuals of law enforcement, this noble profession, stood on one side to protect against the other. The thin blue line. And ideally, it's thin for a reason. It's thin because it's meant for the best and the brightest and the brave and the boldest that would stand there in this noble profession of law enforcement. Over time, it seems like that thin blue line has taken attacks, has been stretched, but the fiber of it has not wavered. The fiber of that thin blue line is still there, and it's there because there are families involved and communities involved and people involved. It truly is a thin blue line of fabric that sews communities together, that sews cities together, that in some respects sews our country together, the thin blue line. I appreciate everyone that is a part of that thin blue family. Those officers that wake up every single day, that put on a uniform to do good work. But it's not just them. It's their families in some respects that go to work with them in that community. And their community around them that supports what they do. Because they're doing this thing, this noble profession, because they're there to make peace. There's a Latin quote, is Beate Pacifici. They say it's blessed is the peacemaker, but it really means blessed are those that make peace. That's what it's about for you out there on a regular basis who are making peace. It's one thing to keep the peace. It's something to step into communities and into conflict to make the peace, because often you are there when peace has been disrupted and you're brought in to maintain the peace. But you are peacekeepers. That is what that thin blue line is all about. A line of which that there's a community that in the worst of times will stand there. And sometimes in the best of times might not get applauded. But it is the humility of each one of you that stands on the wall, that stands there as a commitment to people that you may not know, you may not recognize, a commitment to a community that you are there, that they are safer, they are sound. You know, when I think about what we talk about, this thin blue line, there's something in the Bible in the book of Nehemiah where they're building a wall, and everybody has a responsibility to build their part of the wall. And there's something happens as the wall is almost at completion. There are individuals looking at what's going on as they're doing their job. And back then when they were building the wall, they would have a trowel in one hand as they built the wall and a sword in the other to protect while they were building the wall. There was this line. And in that line, in Nehemiah, the 6th chapter, the 9th verse, they're being attacked because the people are talking about them, criticizing them, and saying, you can't do it. And there's one prayer that Nehemiah has, not that people stop talking, but the prayer was, just strengthen my hands. Strengthen what you gave me to do so I can complete my work. That is our hope for those that stand on the wall in the thin blue line, that you are strengthened to do what you do, that you have a community around you that pours into who you are, that you have people that cheer for you and drown out the rest of the voices. The reality is that you spend 95% of your time with 5% of the people. 95% of your time with 5% of the people. That means that there are more people out there cheering for you than booing you. And sometimes it's hard to hear that. But in the thin blue line, know that you have advocates out there, people that care for you, that love you, that want to see you succeed, and in the midst of it, enjoy life and have peace. You've got to drown out all the noises around you because you are not the enemy. You are not forgotten, and you are not alone. Understand that about that thin blue line that you're a part of, this community that you're a part of, the community that is larger than most of us can realize, that each one of you is a part of, every officer, every family member, every retired officer and family member, and even those who paid the ultimate price of their lives. They're part of this community. And we want you to know, I want you to know, that you are not the enemy. The sounds of society sometimes tell you that. You have this profession that you chose to be a part of. Second is, you are not forgotten. On a daily basis, I spend time praying for officers. I know a lot of officers. I used to be one, so I uniquely understand what it is to be out there by yourself, hoping to do right in the midst of chaos. But sometimes you feel like you're forgotten, you're left out, you're cast aside. But you are not. And you are not alone. That thin blue line might not be as thin as you think. It has individuals in it that you may not see that are caring for you. Quite honestly, I spend a lot of time going around the country, and when I do, I see a number of officers. And when I see them, I walk up to them and I give them this challenge coin. And it's just to say, I appreciate what you do. I'm not trying to have a whole conversation with them, but sometimes they need that. There was a young officer going into a convenience store, and he looked like he was disheveled. He looked like he was frustrated. And when he went in, I watched him go get some coffee and come back out, going towards his car. I said, "Excuse me for a second." And he put his kind of game face on. And I said, "I just want to give you this coin. I appreciate what you do. I need you to be safe out there." And this grizzled look turned into a smile, and a thankfulness came upon him, because I wanted him to know that he's passing people all day long. Some of them, many of them, in fact, most of them are cheering him on, and those like him. The thin blue line, it is a line that we support, that keeps order in the midst of sometimes chaos, that children still adore, that families still need, and truly is a noble profession for the future. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for how you serve our communities. We need you. We want you. And understand, you are not the enemy. You are not forgotten, and you are not alone. We are with you. Thank you.